Wealthy clients expect privacy, discretion, and results that justify the premium they pay for personalized fitness training. Her client list included executives, athletes, and celebrities who could afford cutting-edge fitness technology and exclusive supplements that weren't available to average gym members. Until she realized that some of her clients weren't just buying fitness services, they were running illegal operations that used athletic performance as cover for much more dangerous activities. Welcome to Silent Heroes. Before we begin this powerful story of corruption discovered in unexpected places, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from today? And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button. These stories matter. Jessica Chen had been operating Elite Performance Training as a premium personal fitness service for 8 years, working exclusively with high-net-worth clients who demanded personalized attention and results that enhanced their competitive edge in both professional athletics and corporate environments where physical fitness was considered a marker of success and self-discipline. At 36, Jessica had built a reputation as one of the most sought-after personal trainers in Los Angeles, known for her scientific approach to fitness optimization, her discretion regarding client privacy, and her ability to help executives and athletes achieve peak physical condition that supported their demanding career requirements and competitive aspirations. Jessica's client base included corporate CEOs who needed fitness routines that fit their 80-hour work weeks and constant travel schedules, professional athletes who required specialized training during off-seasons to maintain competitive advantages, and entertainment industry professionals whose careers depended on maintaining specific physical appearances for film and television projects that demanded peak physical condition. The premium fitness market had provided Jessica with steady income exceeding $200,000 annually while allowing her to work with highly motivated clients who were genuinely committed to achieving exceptional results and were willing to invest significant resources in cutting-edge training methods, nutritional guidance, and recovery protocols that optimized their physical performance. Her training sessions were conducted in clients' private home gyms that were equipped with professional-grade equipment worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, creating environments where wealthy individuals could pursue fitness goals without the distractions, privacy concerns, and scheduling limitations that came with commercial gym memberships. Jessica's services included personalized workout design, nutrition planning, recovery optimization, and lifestyle coaching that helped clients integrate peak physical performance with demanding professional responsibilities that required maintaining energy, focus, and physical presence that reflected their success and commitment to excellence. The clientele Jessica served included Academy Award-winning actors preparing for physically demanding roles, Fortune 500 executives who used fitness as networking opportunities and stress management, and professional athletes whose careers depended on maintaining peak condition year-round despite injuries and intensive competition schedules. But Jessica Chen wasn't just a personal trainer helping wealthy clients achieve peak physical condition through scientifically based training methods and cutting-edge fitness technology. She was former Special Agent Jessica Chen, Sports Integrity Unit, Federal Bureau of Investigation, with 10 years of experience investigating corruption in professional athletics, including performance-enhancing drug networks, illegal gambling operations, and match-fixing conspiracies that threatened the integrity of competitive sports. Jessica's FBI career had specialized in cases involving the intersection of organized crime and professional athletics, requiring her to develop expertise in recognizing performance enhancement networks that supplied prohibited substances to athletes, illegal gambling operations that manipulated competition outcomes, and the financial structures that supported corruption in competitive sports at both amateur and professional levels. During her federal service, Jessica had investigated hundreds of cases involving athletes, coaches, team officials, and sports organizations that were involved in systematic cheating, illegal betting, and financial fraud that undermined fair competition while enriching criminal networks that exploited public trust in athletic integrity and competitive fairness. Jessica's specialized training included advanced coursework in sports pharmacology that helped her identify prohibited substances and enhancement methods, financial crimes investigation that revealed money laundering through sports betting, and the behavioral patterns that indicated when athletic performance was being manipulated for illegal gambling purposes. Her undercover assignments had ranged from infiltrating amateur athletic programs where young athletes were being recruited for performance enhancement networks to investigating professional sports, organizations where game outcomes were being manipulated by criminal networks that generated millions of dollars through illegal betting operations. Jessica's FBI career had ended with voluntary resignation following a case involving a 19-year-old Olympic hopeful who had died from cardiac complications caused by performance-enhancing drugs while under investigation for connection to an international doping network that Jessica had been attempting to infiltrate through undercover operations. The tragedy had occurred because institutional delays in federal prosecution procedures had allowed the criminal doping network to continue operating and recruiting young athletes while Jessica's investigation was pending approval from FBI supervisors who were more concerned with jurisdictional complications than with protecting athletes who were being systematically exploited by international criminal organizations. The young athlete's death had been preventable if immediate action had been taken to dismantle the doping network rather than allowing legal procedures to delay intervention until criminal evidence could be compiled, according to federal prosecution standards that prioritized conviction rates over victim protection. The incident had destroyed Jessica's faith in institutional law enforcement approaches to sports corruption and convinced her that individual action by trained professionals might be more effective than bureaucratic systems that were too slow to prevent serious harm to athletes who were being exploited by criminal networks. The transition from investigating sports corruption to providing legitimate fitness training had been perfect therapy for someone who'd spent 10 years witnessing how criminal networks exploited athletes. Dedication and competitive drive to generate illegal profits that destroyed careers, ruined reputations, and sometimes cost lives. Personal training allowed Jessica to work with clients who were pursuing fitness goals through legal, healthy methods rather than the corrupt systems she had investigated during her FBI career. Instead of documenting criminal activity and building cases against corrupt athletes and sports officials, Jessica was helping motivated individuals achieve genuine fitness results through scientifically sound training methods. For 8 years, Jessica had deliberately avoided analyzing her clients' training methods for signs of performance enhancement or illegal activities that would have been crucial evidence during her FBI years investigating sports corruption networks. She developed professional blindness to warning signals that might indicate clients were involved in prohibited activities, focusing exclusively on legitimate fitness training rather than the investigative work that had once consumed her professional life. Jessica had trained herself to see only motivated clients pursuing legitimate fitness goals, cutting-edge training equipment designed for optimal performance, and nutritional supplements that were legally available through authorized distributors rather than the behavioral indicators that might suggest involvement in illegal performance enhancement or gambling networks. Her client interactions were designed to be purely fitness-focused and professionally supportive, avoiding the kind of personal investigations or behavioral assessments that might remind her of the federal enforcement work she'd left behind. Jessica's relationship with clients was built around fitness achievement, health optimization, and performance enhancement through legal methods rather than the suspicious scrutiny that had been necessary during her sports integrity investigations. The peaceful routine of training sessions with successful, motivated clients had provided exactly the kind of healing that Jessica needed after 10 years of confronting corruption and institutional failures that had sometimes cost young athletes their lives while enriching criminal networks that exploited competitive sports for illegal profit. But this Tuesday morning was different. This Tuesday morning, Jessica arrived at the Malibu home of Marcus Westfield, a prominent entertainment industry executive and amateur triathlete, for their regular training session and immediately noticed equipment and substances in his home gym that triggered every investigative instinct that had been trained into her during 10 years of sports integrity enforcement. Marcus Westfield's home gym contained equipment that appeared to be designed for purposes beyond legitimate fitness training. Jessica observed specialized injection equipment, refrigeration units that were typically used for storing biological materials, and monitoring devices that suggested systematic tracking of physiological responses that went far beyond normal fitness assessment. More concerning, Jessica noticed that Marcus's supplement collection included substances that were not available through legal nutritional supplement distributors and appeared to require specialized storage and handling procedures that indicated they were prohibited performance-enhancing drugs rather than legitimate fitness supplements. During their training session, Marcus made several phone calls using coded language that Jessica recognized from her FBI investigations of gambling networks, references to odds, spreads, and guaranteed outcomes that suggested involvement in illegal sports betting operations rather than legitimate business activities. Jessica realized that Marcus Westfield's home gym might be serving as more than a private fitness facility. It appeared to be a distribution center for performance-enhancing drugs and a coordination hub for illegal gambling operations that could be affecting the integrity of professional and amateur athletic competitions. The discovery forced Jessica to confront the possibility that her peaceful personal training career had inadvertently provided her with access to exactly the kind of sports corruption network she had spent her FBI career investigating, and that staying silent would allow criminal activities to continue harming athletes and corrupting competitive sports. Jessica faced a decision that would determine whether her 8 years of retirement from sports integrity enforcement would end, or whether she would allow criminal networks to operate under her observation while she continued providing fitness services to clients who might be involved in systematic corruption. Jessica continued her training session with Marcus while her trained instincts automatically cataloged additional evidence that confirmed her suspicions about illegal activities being conducted through his home gym facility. The patterns she was observing weren't random, they indicated systematic organization that suggested professional criminal networks operating under the cover of legitimate fitness activities. Marcus's phone conversations during their session included references to delivery schedules, client lists, and performance guarantees that used the coded language Jessica had learned to recognize during her FBI investigations of sports corruption networks. The terminology suggested coordinated distribution of prohibited substances and manipulation of athletic performance for gambling purposes. During a break in their training routine, Jessica observed Marcus accessing a secured refrigeration unit that contained vials of substances that were clearly labeled with pharmaceutical codes rather than commercial supplement brands. The storage methods and labeling indicated controlled substances that required specialized handling and were not available through legal nutritional supplement channels. More significantly, Jessica noticed that Marcus's home office, which was visible from the gym area, contained multiple computer monitors displaying real-time sports betting information, statistical analysis software, and communication systems that suggested active coordination with gambling networks rather than casual sports fan interest. Marcus's training regimen itself provided concerning evidence. His performance metrics and recovery rates suggested systematic use of performance-enhancing substances that went far beyond what legitimate training and nutrition could achieve. His physical development patterns indicated chemical enhancement that was consistent with prohibited doping protocols rather than natural fitness progression. When Marcus briefly left the room to take a private phone call, Jessica was able to observe documentation that confirmed her worst suspicions. Visible on his desk were financial records showing payments to offshore accounts, shipping manifests for international pharmaceutical deliveries, and client lists that included names Jessica recognized as professional athletes from multiple sports disciplines. Jessica realized she was documenting evidence of a sophisticated performance enhancement and gambling network that was using Marcus Westfield's entertainment industry connections and financial resources to corrupt professional athletics while generating illegal profits through betting operations that depended on manipulated competition outcomes. The criminal network appeared to be supplying performance-enhancing drugs to professional athletes while coordinating with gambling operations that generated profits by betting on competitions where outcomes were being influenced by chemical enhancement that gave certain competitors unfair advantages. Jessica understood that her discovery represented exactly the kind of systematic sports corruption that her FBI career had been dedicated to investigating and dismantling, but that her current position as Marcus's personal trainer had provided her with access to evidence that traditional law enforcement methods might take months or years to develop. During the final portion of their training session, Marcus made comments that confirmed Jessica's assessment of his criminal activities. He referenced guaranteed wins, pharmaceutical advantages, and coordinated outcomes in ways that indicated he understood he was discussing illegal activities but felt confident that his personal trainer wouldn't recognize the significance of his statements. Marcus also mentioned upcoming deliveries and client meetings that would require discretion and special handling, using language that clearly indicated ongoing criminal operations rather than legitimate business activities related to entertainment industry work or amateur athletic training. Jessica realized that Marcus's trust in her discretion as his personal trainer had led him to become careless about concealing criminal activities that could result in federal charges including drug trafficking, sports bribery, and racketeering violations that carried significant prison sentences. But Jessica also understood that her continued access to Marcus's criminal network required maintaining her cover as a fitness professional while gathering intelligence that could expose the full scope of corruption that was affecting multiple sports and potentially influencing major competitions that millions of people trusted to be conducted fairly. Jessica faced a critical decision about whether to maintain her peaceful retirement from law enforcement or to risk her safety and career by returning to undercover work that could dismantle a criminal network but might also expose her to the same dangers that had convinced her to leave federal service 8 years earlier. The evidence she was gathering suggested that Marcus Westfield's network was connected to international criminal organizations that wouldn't hesitate to eliminate threats to operations that generated millions of dollars in illegal profits through sports corruption and performance enhancement distribution. Jessica made a decision that would determine whether her 8 years of peaceful personal training were permanently over or whether this discovery would force her to return to the dangerous world of sports integrity enforcement that had nearly cost her faith in law enforcement institutions. Instead of withdrawing from the situation and allowing federal agents to conduct traditional investigation that might take months to penetrate Marcus Westfield's criminal network, Jessica would use her position as his trusted personal trainer to gather real-time intelligence that could expose the entire corruption operation before they could relocate or eliminate evidence. Marcus, Jessica said while maintaining her normal training routine to avoid creating suspicion, I've been thinking about expanding my services to include specialized performance optimization for clients who are serious about achieving exceptional results. Would you be interested in discussing advanced training protocols? Marcus's response confirmed that he understood Jessica was offering to become more involved in activities that went beyond legitimate fitness training. His eyes lit up with interest as he replied, Jessica, I've been hoping you might be open to working with clients who require more sophisticated approaches to performance enhancement. There are opportunities for trainers who understand discretion and aren't limited by conventional fitness industry restrictions. Over the next hour, while maintaining the appearance of a normal training session, Jessica conducted what amounted to an undercover interview that revealed the complete organizational structure of a sports corruption network that included professional athletes from multiple disciplines, entertainment industry executives who provided financing, and international pharmaceutical suppliers who manufactured prohibited performance-enhancing substances. Marcus explained that his network provided competitive advantages to professional athletes who were willing to pay premium prices for chemical enhancement that couldn't be detected by standard drug testing procedures. The athletes who used their services included Olympic competitors, professional football and basketball players, and entertainment industry performers who needed to achieve physical transformations for high-profile film projects. The financial structure of the operation involved offshore accounts that laundered money through entertainment industry transactions while coordinating with gambling networks that generated additional profits by betting on competitions where outcomes were influenced by systematic performance enhancement that gave certain competitors decisive advantages. Marcus also revealed that the network had corrupted drug testing procedures at multiple levels, including laboratory technicians who provided advance warning of testing schedules, sports officials who influenced testing protocols, and medical professionals who provided false documentation to explain suspicious test results. Jessica's undercover intelligence gathering revealed that the corruption network extended far beyond individual athletes to include systematic manipulation of major sporting events that affected billions of dollars in legal and illegal gambling activities worldwide. The scope of the operation included international coordination with criminal organizations in multiple countries that supplied prohibited substances while coordinating betting operations that depended on manipulated competition outcomes for guaranteed profits that funded additional criminal activities including money laundering and political corruption. But Jessica's undercover work also attracted attention from security personnel within Marcus's network who were trained to identify potential law enforcement surveillance and eliminate threats to operations that generated millions of dollars in revenue for international criminal organizations. During her final training session of the week, Jessica noticed that she was being observed by individuals who weren't participating in fitness activities but were conducting systematic surveillance of Marcus's home gym and the people who had access to his criminal operations. Jessica realized that her FBI background might have been discovered through the same kind of security investigations that sophisticated criminal networks used to protect themselves from law enforcement infiltration, and that the next several hours would determine whether her intelligence reached federal agents safely or whether she would become another casualty in a corruption war that followed her from federal service into civilian retirement. Jessica activated emergency communication protocols she hadn't used since her FBI resignation, contacting specialized sports integrity units that were trained to handle intelligence about international corruption networks while ensuring that her cover wouldn't be compromised by premature enforcement actions. Agent Morrison, this is Jessica Chen, former Sports Integrity Unit. I have eyes on systematic sports corruption network involving performance enhancement distribution, gambling manipulation, and international money laundering. Immediate federal response required before network discovers infiltration. The federal response was immediate and professional. Jessica, we've been tracking international sports corruption indicators that match your intelligence. Can you maintain cover until coordinated enforcement action can be executed? Jessica understood that maintaining cover might require continuing to pose as Marcus's personal trainer while federal agencies prepared complex international operations that could dismantle the entire criminal network. But she also knew that her position was becoming increasingly dangerous as the network's security procedures detected her unusual interest in activities that went beyond fitness training. 2 weeks later, while Marcus Westfield was attending what he believed was a private meeting with international pharmaceutical suppliers in Beverly Hills, federal agents executed coordinated raids across 6 states that dismantled the most sophisticated sports corruption network ever discovered operating within American professional athletics. Jessica's undercover intelligence had provided the detailed evidence that federal prosecutors needed to obtain warrants for arrests that included corrupt athletes from major professional sports leagues, entertainment industry executives who had financed performance enhancement operations, and international suppliers who had manufactured prohibited substances specifically designed to avoid detection by current drug testing methods. The operation resulted in the seizure of over $50 million in assets, including offshore accounts used for money laundering, pharmaceutical manufacturing equipment worth millions of dollars, and evidence of systematic corruption that had affected major sporting events including professional championship games and international competitions. Jessica's intelligence had exposed a criminal organization that had successfully corrupted drug testing procedures, influenced competition outcomes through systematic performance enhancement, and generated hundreds of millions of dollars through illegal gambling operations that depended on manipulated athletic performance for guaranteed profits. But the real victory was measured in the protection of athletic integrity that millions of fans trusted when they watched professional sports, and the prevention of further exploitation of young athletes who were being recruited into corruption networks that could destroy their careers and health for criminal profit. 6 months later, Jessica stood in a federal courthouse in Los Angeles, providing testimony that would result in convictions for racketeering, drug trafficking, and sports bribery charges that included sentences ranging from 15 to 25 years in federal prison for criminal organization leaders. Marcus Westfield received a 22-year sentence for operating a continuing criminal enterprise that had corrupted professional athletics while generating over $200 million through illegal gambling and performance enhancement distribution that had affected dozens of major sporting events. Jessica's testimony was crucial for convictions that dismantled an international network that had been operating successfully for over 8 years while avoiding detection by traditional sports integrity enforcement methods that weren't designed to recognize corruption disguised as legitimate fitness and entertainment industry activities. After the trials concluded, Jessica received recognition from the Federal Bureau of Investigation for civilian assistance that had resulted in the most significant sports corruption prosecutions in federal law enforcement history, protecting the integrity of professional athletics that millions of Americans trusted to be conducted fairly. But Jessica also received something more valuable: the knowledge that her retirement from federal law enforcement could continue while serving as a resource for protecting athletic integrity when criminal networks attempted to exploit the trust that competitive sports depended on for public support. Jessica returned to her personal training business with a new understanding that her fitness work could serve dual purposes, helping clients achieve legitimate performance goals while maintaining vigilance against corruption networks that threatened the integrity of athletic competition. 3 months later, Jessica began working as a consultant with the FBI Sports Integrity Unit, training other fitness professionals, sports medicine practitioners, and athletic performance specialists to recognize signs of systematic corruption while coordinating with federal agencies when sports integrity was threatened by criminal networks. Jessica's experience demonstrated that retirement from federal law enforcement didn't mean retirement from protecting the integrity of institutions that Americans trusted, and that civilian occupations could provide unique opportunities to identify criminal activities that traditional enforcement methods might miss due to access limitations or jurisdictional constraints. The corruption network that had exploited professional athletics was completely dismantled, but Jessica knew that other criminal organizations were probably developing similar methods to manipulate athletic performance while avoiding detection by enforcement agencies that weren't prepared to recognize sophisticated corruption disguised as legitimate business activities. Jessica's new consulting work would help protect both honest athletes and the millions of fans who trusted competitive sports to be conducted fairly, while ensuring that criminal networks couldn't exploit athletic performance for illegal profits that undermined the integrity of competition that formed the foundation of professional athletics. 8 years after leaving federal sports integrity enforcement, Jessica had discovered that some service to athletic integrity never really ends. It just finds new ways to protect honest competition from criminal organizations that see public trust in sports as a vulnerability to be exploited rather than a strength to be preserved and protected. The fitness industry that had provided Jessica with peaceful retirement became the setting for her most important contribution to sports integrity enforcement, proving that community-based vigilance by trained professionals could be more effective than traditional investigation methods when criminals attempted to corrupt athletic competition through performance enhancement and gambling manipulation. So now I ask you, have you ever noticed suspicious activities in fitness or sports environments? Have you met someone whose background prepared them to recognize corruption that others might miss? Share their story in the comments, because quiet guardians like Jessica deserve to be remembered. And if this story moved you, subscribe to Silent Heroes. We're here to honor the people who understand that protecting athletic integrity requires constant vigilance, and that real heroism happens when someone chooses to act when the sports we love are threatened by criminal corruption. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the person training you at your private gym has spent years learning to recognize when athletic performance is being corrupted by criminal networks. And sometimes that expertise protects the integrity of sports that millions of people trust to be conducted fairly.